Okay, obviously I love London for many, many reasons. So much so that I've published over 100 videos helping other people to experience the city. I live here, I love it. But as with everything in life, nothing is as magical as it may seem. So there are quite a few things about living and being here in London that I'm not particularly fond of. So I'm going to share them with you. Travel time. Whenever you need to get around London, it takes way longer than you think it would. For example, I have a client that has an office in Clerkenwell, and when I have to commute in the morning to go visit them, it takes me almost an hour and a half door to door to get there from where I live. And that is for a 7-mile journey. It drives me insane sometimes how long it can take to get such short distances here in London. It's just how like the road systems are set up. It takes longer to drive everywhere, and the tube system's pretty good, but it obviously doesn't get you everywhere. It also makes it harder to explore other areas of London, because if you've been working Monday to Friday and you've had to like commute and deal with the trains all day, you kind of don't want to have to hop on the underground and like spend 2 hours of your day on the underground just to go check out a couple of places in an area you've never been before. I mean, I try to do it as much as I can, but it's just not like what you want to do on a weekend. As a New Yorker, I really wish that there was like the express train here, like we have in the subway system there. It would mean that we would get places so much faster. Oh, I miss this express train so much. Now, because of those lengthy travel times to get anywhere, that makes it really difficult to make friends here in London. Now, I'm not saying you don't meet people when you live here. In fact, you meet like tons of people and loads of Londoners, lots of really cool people, but 99% of those people will end up just being like casual acquaintances. Because you likely live quite far from somebody that you might meet out and about in town, it makes it really difficult to foster friendships, because for you to meet up and hang out means you're probably gonna have to meet in the middle somewhere in central London. So you'll have to pick a place to like get a coffee or eat or to do, and that costs money and it takes up time. So it's just really hard to like become good friends with people, because it's hard to see them on a quite regular basis. So yeah, making friends in London is definitely difficult, and it's probably the thing that I would say that I've found to be the most difficult thing when I moved here, and I still deal with it actually. As you can probably imagine, being a major metropolitan city, the rental prices here in London are astronomical. It's pretty much impossible for anyone to live in central London unless you're absolutely loaded. So all the places that you guys, the community members, always end up going to is not anywhere I could ever even dream of being able to afford to live in. I'm lucky enough that I live in an area that's on like the cusp of zone 2 and zone 3, so it's not in central London, but it's not too far. But a lot of people couldn't even afford to live in the area that I live in, or even further out, because the rent just is so expensive and doesn't match the salaries here in London. Of course, I can't complain too much. I mean, nobody forces me to pay these prices. I could move outside of London and pay a lot less to live. However, the trade-off is that living in London is so much fun, and to be able to go into central London and be there in about 25 minutes and check out new restaurants and things to do, I would never give that up. It's more important to me than money. In terms of prices, I don't feel like the prices worry me so much as for like things that are like food and restaurants and drinks and stuff. That doesn't worry me or bother me as much as the rent, maybe because I'm used to like New York City prices, and maybe the area I live in, it's not too expensive. That probably is why. Also, it's really good when you go like anywhere else besides London, like pretty much anywhere else in the world that you go after you're living in London, you feel like you have so much money and everything is so cheap. You kind of like just go and just like paying for drinks for everybody, taking care of the bill for food, like living the dream because it seems so cheap compared to what you're used to. The air pollution in London is really, really bad. Especially the road that I live on is one of the worst roads for air pollution in all of London. So I do worry about how that's gonna impact me in the long term. Our mayor's trying to kind of sort it out, but he's not being as aggressive as I would hopefully have liked. The city's trying to transition more into electric vehicles and hybrids, and hopefully that gets sped up a little bit faster so we're not all breathing in this really bad air for that much longer. Rush hour in London is unlike anything I have ever experienced before. And as a freelancer, I'm so thankful that I don't have to do 5 days of commuting every week, because I think I would add 10 years to my life. Whenever I do have to do commuting times during rush hour, oh my God, it stresses me out and I'm exhausted by the time I even get to the office before I've even started to work. It gets absolutely crazy during rush hour. This is why I tell our community to try to avoid using the tube or any public transportation during rush hour, especially in the morning, because it's hard to explain it until you've actually seen it, but it's just sardines packed into a tube car, and it's hot and sweaty. There's no air conditioning, but it's hot even in the winter. There's grumpy people who are trying to squeeze onto a train that they can't fit on. You have to wait for like 5 trains to go by before you can even get on a train. Oh my God, I'm just so happy I don't have to deal with that. But when I do, I just want to rip my hair out. I don't particularly like the weather here in London. I'm from New York originally. We have the extremes of temperatures. We get snow and stuff, but I don't know if I would say I prefer New York weather better. I mean, maybe in the summer that I do, but I don't like the amount of overcast days that we have here. And what really gets me is in the winter, the daylight hours sometimes can just be non-existent if it's a rainy or an overcast day. It's been so hard for me to deal with, because at least in New York, I feel like even though it's quite cold out, you still get sunnier days and you can still get like a little bit of sunlight on you. But here, once in a while, you don't even feel like it turned into day at all. It's just been night the whole time. I also don't particularly like that the summer only lasts for like 2 weeks here, it feels like. So I'm used to weather in May and September being like either really mild or actually quite warm and sunny. But here, it's not usually the case for at least the whole of the month, but it can still be quite cold, and usually May rolls around and I'm still wearing like my leather jacket out. And I'm like, why is it so cold still? I want it to be warm. If I was home in New York, I'd be on the beach right now. So I don't particularly like the weather here. However, the winters are technically more mild than New York, so that's good. And the summer in the city is better than New York, because New York just gets to be like sweltering hot, and we'll usually have like 2 or 3 weeks a year here where we have like a heat wave where it gets really warm. But besides that, it's not too bad. Now, again, I absolutely love London and there's no plans for me to leave anytime soon, but I just wanted to show you the different side, the less magical side that maybe you don't see on Instagram or in the videos. Let's all wallow in this negativity together. Let me know down in the comments something that you don't particularly like about the place that you live. I'd be interested to know. Oh God, I can't wait for the comments from the non-Londoner Brits who complain about how crappy London is. I get it, you guys think that where you live is better. Yes, I know there's more to England than London. Let's see how this comment section goes. Anyway, for more tips and tricks about London or more chats about London, you can subscribe to my channel by clicking my head popping up here. And I think you should watch this video next.